Hello, I'm back, and we'll continue our discovery of these external cause codes. Now that we've gotten through more of the fundamentals, we have some finer points, and let's take a look at them right now. And again, all transport accidents are assumed to be accidental unless specified otherwise. If the intent of the event is unknown or unspecified, it's understood to be an accident. The only time the coder uses the event codes that state that it's an undetermined intent is when the documentation specifically says that the intent cannot be determined. If it's just not mentioned at all what the intent is, then it's assumed to be accidental. We can have late effects with this external cause codes. And to identify the patient's condition that's being treated today from an event that occurred in the past, the external cause is reported with the 7th character S for sequela. The external cause code should not be used with any report of late effect or sequela resulting from a previous injury. A sequela external event code is never used with a related current injury code. And if you think about it, that makes perfect sense, because if it's current, it should be initial encounter. So if we have a patient with a sequela of a past injury or an illness, we code it as follows. We have a residual late effect of the condition that the patient presently has, and it's found in the Index to Diseases and Injuries. Then we have a sequela or late effect, or the condition the patient originally had that produced the residual effect that's found in the alphabetic index under the term sequela. The external cause code for the original accident or event is found in the index to external causes. And of course, we're going to use that 7th character of S for sequela. We have several different types of transport accidents. We can have pedestrians injured, bicyclist, in other words, pedal bicyclist. I'm unclear how we would have these motorized bicycles if they're classified as motorcycles or not, but motorcycle is also mentioned, 3-wheeled motor vehicle, and so on. We can even have, as we saw in the other video lecture, a air or space transport accident. Land transport accidents identify the victim's mode of transportation, and the vehicle is also specified that the injured person is an occupant in. Transport accident is one where the vehicle is moving or running or being used for some sort of transportation purposes. And the definition of transport vehicles appears in the very beginning of chapter 20. There never were serious reportable events that relate to the National Quality Forum's never events. In other words, we want to keep special tracks of wrong site surgeries, surgery on the wrong patient. And you can see these in table 23.1 in your text. Let's have a quick look. So again, these are the events that the National Quality Forum looks at. And these are things like surgery performed on the wrong body part. We see these in the news, all these different things. Surgery performed on the wrong patient, wrong surgical procedure, retention of a foreign object in a patient after surgery, and so on. Military operations are split into 2 different categories of external causes. We have the operations of war, which are injury to military personnel or civilians caused by war, civil insurrections, or any peacekeeping mission. We also have military operations. So this is military personnel or civilians working on a military base that happened during peacetime. Terrorism has its own category of external cause codes. And these are used when the cause of an injury is identified by the Federal Bureau of Investigation as terrorism. We only code something as terrorism when the FBI declares it as terrorism. We still use the additional codes for the place of occurrence. The place of occurrence is coded from category Y92. We only report it at the initial encounter, and only one place is reported. And again, as mentioned earlier, we don't use an unspecified place of occurrence code of Y92.9 if the place is not stated or not applicable. The activity code describes the activity. We can only have one activity, and we never use activities with poisoning, adverse effects, misadventures, or sequela. Coders do not report Y93.9 if an activity is not stated. And the status code is Y99, and this is assigned when any other external cause code is assigned. The status code will indicate whether it's doing the injury was sustained during military activity, whether a non-military person was at work, whether the person was a student, volunteer, what have you. These codes also are not applicable to poisoning, adverse effects, misadventures, or late effects. We don't assign a code from Y99 if no other external cause code is applicable to the patient. And we can only use them once. And of course, it's only at the initial encounter. Finally, we don't assign the unspecified status of Y99.9 if their external cause status is not stated. And that's all I have for you. We'll see you online.